I'll say, first of all, that gospel is a very interesting kind of, it's a dichotomy, really. When you talk of the gospel industry, it's like an oxymoron because, the gospel is free. Gospel means good news, and yet there is an industry that deals in, the exchange of gospel music and gospel, sermons and that kind of thing. So for me, that's always been something that I've thought a lot about because I feel that I'm called to do what I'm doing. And at the same time, like anybody else, though it is a calling, and I'm hoping that some of you guys are called into the music industry, the business part of it, because we need some people who have some conviction. Like I'm called to do this, so there's only so crooked I can be. But I do feel like it is a calling for me. At the same time, though it is a calling, you should be taken care of. You should be able to send your kids to schools like Loyola. So in order to do that, you got to make some cash. So to answer your question, I have this whole thing about the gospel aspect of what I do. I play in the mainstream. That's primarily my audience. And I've always considered myself, in a sense, a gospel musician because my heart is sort of radically changed. I belong to Christ. So I feel like wherever I go, I'm representing him. But just so happens that I tend to I represent him in the mainstream marketplace. Okay, I'm not the guy who's beating somebody on the head with a Bible. I'm like, hey, God loves you, and I'm here to just prove it. But then there's the other side of it, and that's to do gospel records that will be marketed, product that's marketed to in the marketplace of gospel, and sold at churches and that kind of thing. So I've always endeavored to make sure that people don't perceive me as a gospel artist because I don't want that. I want everybody to hear this music. But it just so happens if you ask me who I am, that's who I am. So it's kind of convoluted, but at the end of it, I love making music for people, just anybody. But then there's opportunities that I get to play in an environment where people, love Jesus and they just want to hear about him, and that is cool too for me. And those are the gospel performances and playing at churches and stuff like that. And my career, by the way, is really becoming more and more kind of integrated in that sense, where I do a lot of jazz festivals and stuff like that. But again, I played a lot of churches. I even preached at a church yesterday in Houston. So it just depends. I'll get up and play and then speak,